Control the controllables. You are listening to The Competitor's Brain. This is episode number 28, and I am Lauren Fox. And today we're going to talk about kind of what seems to be the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, the concept that you really need to just control the controllables. And you need to identify what is in your control so that you can actually focus on that instead of the things that are external and more difficult to focus on. Now, this goes way back. It goes back to an era, basically AD 50 is when Epictetus was born. He was born as a slave in Turkey, or in what is now modern-day Turkey, and never wrote anything down. Everything that exists from him was written down by a pupil of his, which is just utterly fascinating, that there was somebody with him who was studying from him, who decided that it was important to listen to everything that this man was saying and write it down word for word so that it could be saved. Now, one thing I will say is we would have gotten there anyway. But the most difficult thing about it is remembering to actually control the things that you can control. The actual quote from Epictetus is here, and what he says, and Ryan Holiday is a great source of all of this stuff because he's indexed it, and everything is sort of tabbed, if you will, on Daily Stoic website. But Epictetus in his discourses says, "The chief task in life is simply this, to identify and separate matters so that I can say it clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Where then do I look for good and evil? Not to uncontrollable externals, but within myself, to the choices that are my own." And this kind of manifests itself in sports psychology in a lot of ways, and just psychology day to day. Looking at Brian Cain, who has a great podcast that he rolls out every day, Mental Performance Daily. But Cain talks about the things that you can control yourself, your APE, and I think there's a C in there too. Attitude, your appearance, your body language, positive self-talk, present moment focus, process and preparation, performance, how you compete, perspective, how you see your situation, effort, energy, and emotions. And I would also put within there character, which I guess is sort of an offshoot of attitude in a lot of ways. But those are the things that you can control. And so when you're in a situation when, let's say, a teacher gives you a large project and says, "Man, this project's going to be due in 3 weeks," and you say, "There's no way that I can get this done." Well, you have to control your controllables. You have to figure out what your attitude's going to be about it. You have to figure out what your process is going to be, another P. You have to figure out what sort of effort you're going to put into it. Umpire makes a bad call, okay? You have to figure out what your appearance is going to be. Are you going to be a palms up or a palms down player? A palms up player is looking at the coach and frustrated, and a palms down player is just saying, "Hey, I got to do the next thing that I have to do because I can't carry that at bat. I can't carry that possession with me onto defense or onto the field." So, and the effort and your emotions after the fact. Now, we've all been guilty of trying to control things that we can't control. My players who were with me several years ago remind me consistently about getting thrown out of several games because of bad umpire calls. However, I could have done a better job of controlling my attitude. I could have done a much better job of controlling my appearance. I could have done a much better job of sort of thinking about what was going to happen beforehand, premeditatio malorum, and dealing with it, knowing that things are going to get tough. How am I going to respond to them? And what can I do ultimately to control what is in my control?